the main thing that you wanted to talk about, that I wanted you to talk about, is the Paramount stuff. So let me get to the Paramount story real quick. I'll read some notes here. So WBD has formally rejected a hostile takeover bid from Paramount Skydance led by David Ellison on December 17th, calling it inferior and illusory. Illusory, is that a word? I don't know.
Yes.
Compared to their agreed upon merger with Netflix, this corporate drama could significantly impact pro wrestling as WBD owns TBS and TNT and the Max streaming service. Netflix merger might reshape AEW's media. I don't think that's going to happen, but media rights landscape. Okay, details on Paramount's rejected bid. Paramount's offer was an all-cash $30 per share deal, valuing it at $108.4 billion enterprise value. It was launched as a hostile tender offer directly to shareholders on December 8th. After WBD had already accepted Netflix's proposal, WBD board criticized it for significant risks, including concerns over financing. The bid relied on over $40 billion in external funding from Middle Eastern wealth funds and Larry Ellison's revocable trust, which WBD deemed insufficiently backstopped by the Ellison family. So, and then there's more to it, but JD, what's going on with this whole thing? I mean, did Paramount just shit the bed?
I told you so.
I just had to get that out of the way because, like, when we first talked about this month ago, I said, I don't think this is going to happen, and it didn't. Now it went down in more spectacular failure than I thought it would because Jared Kushner and all his guys pulled out of it. Like, right when they said, like, Ellison tried to do the hostile takeover with the shareholders, and people forget that in order to do a hostile takeover, you actually have to successfully buy the shares. The board and all the shareholders unanimously told him to go fuck himself because they said this money isn't real. And that's the problem. They're leveraging foreign investors. Nobody knew who these people actually were. It wasn't like MSB is out there going like, yeah, well, let's buy WBD. They said, oh, we'll get some of it from here. We'll get some of it from there, which means we'll just spend a bunch of debt and we'll just accrue more debt because money isn't real. Right. And the WBD shareholders went, you know what? I don't like that. I don't think that's a good use of our funds. Netflix money is real. And then we're going to respin this off. We're now, because people keep forgetting this. Zaz's plan is to spin this off into two companies, which means two sales. Right. And people keep shitting this down. They keep forgetting that this is what's happening here. And Paramount wanted none of that. Paramount wanted they wanted access to that DC library because the younger Ellison has this vision of AI filmmaking, right? So the thought of AI Superman movies kept me up at nights. I hated the concept of it. Two, they wanted CNN. I think they're overvaluing CNN. I've been saying that from the jump. CNN does not have the accrued interest with our generation and the younger generation that it did with our parents' generation. Like CNN isn't worth anything. And you see what's happening kind of with right since they took over CBS. They put Bari Weiss in charge of she's the editor-in-chief of CBS News, and that's getting universally shit on what they're doing over there. So they wanted to do that again on cable. And I think that David Zaslav and the board for WB is like, we don't want a part of this. Like, this Netflix thing is real. Like, this actually can help us. So let's just go here. And then Ellison, who's the kid Ellison, who's of course a spoiled, rotten little brat, who's used to getting his own way. This is why you have to tell your kids no, because they turn into David Ellison if you don't. He just threw a temper tantrum, and then Jared Kushner took all his like real money and said, "Okay, we're gonna get out of this. This isn't working." And now even the administration is kind of shut up about. Now they still have to get the approval. They haven't crossed the finish line yet, but I haven't heard a lot of pushback against this since the Paramount deal faded away. There was a lot of pushback initially, but now with Paramount not, because again, they don't have the money. They have so much debt from the Paramount deal. This is Skydance. Paramount doesn't. It's all Skydance at this point. They accrued so much debt. That's all they're doing is they're just accruing more and more and more debt, right? They don't have that money. It's not real. So this is where we are. And what does this mean to pro wrestling? Nobody knows because we have 2 years. And the reality is 2025 is very different than 2023. 2027 is going to be very different than 2025. And nobody's going to be able to predict where. If Tony loses that deal, I imagine they'll go to Amazon Prime. That's my bet.
Yeah, I came out pretty strong immediately saying I don't think this is gonna have a major effect. Now, if Netflix ends up swallowing HBO Max and WWE doesn't, if WWE does indeed have a deal in place where they get exclusivity on Netflix, that could cause Netflix to drop WBD, right? In not WBD, AEW
Well,
in that sense.
just
But
from HBO,
again,
hold on, just from HBO Max though. Like remember, as part of this spinoff, HBO and Warner Brothers go this way, and all the television networks are going another way. So Tony has his Tony has two deals. We're forgetting about this. He has his HBO Max deal, and he has his TNT deal. Right, the Turner Network deal is fine for right now.
Yeah,
could they lose HBO Max? Yeah, HBO Max itself could be dead, but I imagine the stream. I mean, you can buy AEW pay-per-views on Amazon Prime right now. So I mean, if they do lose that, the thought that it would spin right into Prime is pretty realistic. And the initial TV deal itself is fine because these are going to be Netflix isn't touching TBS. That's going to be, remember, the plan is to spin that off in a different company. You're essentially taking Warner Brothers, the WB, and moving it here, and the D of Discovery, they go back to being separate companies. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Let's see. Ishmael says, also, guys, the NFL TV rights go up for bidding in 2029. Will Netflix offend an NFL owner by canceling their wrestling show in 2028? Of course they would. They don't, you think the other 31 teams in the NFL care about AEW? Of course they don't.
No, I don't think you have to use Universal. I don't think that I don't know how that's going to go. Like, do they want to play nice? Yeah, they're going to want to play nice, but at the same time, like, I don't foresee that being a leverage point.
No. So the only thing I was saying was that the only way I could see this actually affecting them is if Netflix swallowed HBO Max, they all became one app, and there was an exclusivity deal to where the streaming deal for AEW would then get dropped. But they're also possibly spinning off another streaming service for Turner Sports and making that a different deal. So that could work. But like you said, I think future state 2027, I think it makes a lot of sense for AEW just to head to Prime anyway. Especially with the loss in, cable homes, maybe they could just become on, go to Prime altogether, like all inclusively would be nice, like worldwide.
Well, especially with Tony's dealings with Prime, with both the NFL and with AEW. I do think long-term Amazon, and there was talk back in 2019 of Amazon Prime being the I believe that was if the Warner deal fell through and it was going to go to Amazon Prime, which in 2019 would have been a death sentence. 2027, we're in a different world altogether. There's an interesting comment that I'm going to pull up. I just saw that. Warner is near its legs. I don't know. And siding with Netflix makes Warner feel like a shell. I mean, not really. Like, this has kind of been like Warner has merged with so many companies over the years. They merged with AOL, they merged with Turner, they merged with like Discovery. Like, this is just kind of what Warner Brothers has been for the better part of 30 years. Like, it's been a like since Jack Warner sold it in the 60s, like it's been a snowball rolling downhill for decades. It keeps picking up other things along the way. The only thing that stays current is the shield, right? That WB shield, like it's like the Coke emblem, like it's going to be around forever. Like, and that Warner Brothers shield has more value. And for a film, like if you're going to put a film out, like a true film, like at the movie theaters, you're going to want that Warner Brothers emblem. You're not going to want to throw Netflix up there because people associate Netflix with being home.
Right. Believe it or not, that logo does mean something.
Like, it does.
People are likely to watch it if it's got that logo on there. It's not over for AEW. That's just a secondary part of their deal.
It to you. Do you listen to nothing to what I say? They have two deals. It will end the streaming service on Max, and they have a 2-year deal, so it's not going anywhere right now. They still have Warner. Like, they're not. One more time for the people in the back. Netflix is not buying the Turner networks.
So they're not buying TNT. They're not buying TNT. They're not buying TBS.
Yeah,
what they're buying is they're buying HBO Max and the movie studio and the television studio, right? Like all of the content producing part of it, they're buying DC, right? All of that they're buying. They're not buying the television stations, TNT, like True TV, TBS, and all of that, Discovery. Those are being spun off into a separate deal to be sold.
Right. And quite frankly, Netflix doesn't want those things. Those have which leads me to believe that Netflix was the primary partner all along. I truly, conspiracy breathing, I think Zaslav and the Netflix people cooked this up a year ago. Personal opinion, can't prove it. They don't want those cable networks because it doesn't fit their portfolio.
Yeah.
Right. So that's not a thing. We have to you don't see this stuff business for how it is, and you don't actually read these things. We read like people who reply to Sean Ross Sapp tweets and don't actually understand this business. Awesome one Shrey, I like that one, says the Khan family has so many relationships, no matter what, they'll probably be fine. Yeah, I agree with you. They're billionaires.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So the point that we want to drive home is that Paramount failed. They're not getting it. WBD saw through it. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to force their way into the situation. It's very likely going to head to Netflix, and it's going to have very little impact on AEW. Did you guys get to enough education today from Uncle Mike and Uncle JD?
We're here for you.
School you?
I'm a teacher. That's what I do.
Yeah. But on that note, I think, hold on, we'll get to one last comment here, and then I think we're going to send it home. I'm shocked Amazon didn't submit a bid for WBD. Buying WBD will be a drop in the bucket for them. Yeah, I'm surprised they weren't in on that.
Amazon owns Columbia, and so they're in Sony and stuff like that. So like, MGM, excuse me, Amazon owns MGM. So like, that in and of itself brings up the same type of monopoly thoughts that would be another studio buying another studio, which is something the government would shit on. And like any non-Trump government, which is just, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be political, this is just reality. Any non-Trump government would have shut down the idea of Paramount buying Warner Brothers immediately. Like that's the kind of, that's antitrust stuff. So that's why Amazon Prime kind of laid out. Netflix is in a different business. Netflix doesn't have a theater on. They don't have a studio. They have Netflix. They're what they are. So it's different. This is why when people, like, again, I don't love it either, to be honest with you. Like, I'm looking at this, I have one pit bull that's going to eat a baby, and I have another pit bull that's going to shit on the floor. I'm going to go with the one that's going to shit on the floor because it's less of a mess.
Yeah. What are you going to do when Netflix makes Batman like a woman in a wheelchair? What are you going to think when that happens?
Mike, you see, okay, Oracle, Batgirl is a woman in a wheelchair, so it works. It fits. It's fine. They will be following continuity.
Oh, well, there you go. I was just making a joke about how Netflix is always trying to shoehorn in that stuff, but it looks like that's already part of it.
This is for Jerry. In the Killing Joke, the Joker shoots Barbara Gordon in the spine, and she paralyzes her from the waist down, and then she comes. So like the guy in the chair meme literally comes from her. Like, she is the first character to ever be the guy in the chair who does all the computer stuff for Batman and the Birds of Prey. So that's Barbara Gordon.
All right. Well, there you go. All right, guys. Hey, that's going to do it for us this week. Hey, head to patreon.com/the Mike and JD show. More content coming your way. You guys can sign up there. If you guys got questions or you guys got topics for us to hit, head over to the Patreon, drop me a note there, and then I'll put it together. And then JD and I will do some bonus content. We've been doing some match watch alongs and stuff like that. This week it's a holiday week, so we're probably going to go dark this week. But we'll be back with some fresh content coming your way. But again, head to patreon.com/the Mike and JD show. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, mahalo.
Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you work your A game. Ain't made no rain from the track when we unite and spit. This is an A game, better bring your A game. Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you work your A game. Ain't made no rain from